Thank you for joining me while I present my idea for a new HP innovation. With School X being an all-girls school, I know we pride ourselves on education that benefits and represents young women. An excellent space for this is the HP department, yet there seems to be a disconnect between the engagement levels of our subject. In 2024, 94 students completed Year 12, however, only 15 of them were enrolled in Senior PE. Furthermore, it is becoming more difficult to justify the need for our school to participate in inter-school sports, as we have seen a 16% decline in participation across all year levels since 2020. In the school context, there is a lack of variety in the physical activity options in HPE. This is affecting participation in the junior years and enrolment in the senior years, as seen in our school's enrolment rates. Outside of schools, students are not participating in enough or any physical activity. This can be seen through the data collected by the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare in 2024, with 1 in 4 people aged 15 to 17 years old being overweight or obese. This statistic increases when these young people reach the ages of 18 to 24, with every 4 in 10 being overweight or obese. This is due to a lack of knowledge about the types of physical activity they could participate in, and these are the identified issues that I have found in our school context. Through search processes such as Google Scholar, I was able to find information relating to adolescent girls' experiences in HP and how it affects their engagement in the subject. One particular study found that adolescent girls are not unmotivated to do physical activity, rather they are not being presented with options that tie in with their lifestyles. One participant expressed that they enjoyed activities where they could still be social and were less formal than organised team sport. When we choose the sports for our units, we use the list from the Australian Curriculum Senior PE syllabus, particularly for our Year 10 students. Currently, our Year 10s are participating in touch football, volleyball, water polo and golf. These sports, although varied, are mostly team sports and are all competitive in some way. In another study, it was evident that girls were restricted by the current HP curriculum. One participant felt particularly restricted by the overrepresentation of competitive games. Girls in this study were more drawn to fitness-based activities such as Pilates, running, yoga and dance. This type of exercise is currently underrepresented in the Australian curriculum for HP, with the senior syllabus only including aerobic gymnastics as a potential substitute for these options. Although many adolescent girls are involved and enjoy competitive sports, it is important to recognise that not all students are the same. As HP teachers, we must acknowledge this and present students with a variety of activities to help them stay active. The impact that this current curriculum is having on young people today is highlighted by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, with only 3.7% of girls meeting the physical activity guidelines, which is significantly less than the 9.9% of boys. These concerns that young girls have are not being addressed by the current HP curriculum, which is why the senior PE enrolment rate is decreasing at our school. However, what these studies highlight is that our students are still motivated to participate in physical activity, but we must provide more education around the subject. When developing this innovation, I incorporated entrepreneurial teaching to think critically about how we approach this new idea. Building partnerships with local organisations is something I believe we can utilise in this innovation. It will allow us to create community connections that will not only benefit our program, but also local businesses. Furthermore, our students will be exposed to organisations that they can access outside of school when seeking ways to engage in physical activity. When we present this innovation to our colleagues and potential partners, I feel it is important that we create an environment that is collaborative. This will allow all stakeholders to feel confident in the innovation and understand the role they will play in the presentation of it. As seen, I created a SWOT analysis highlighting the reasons for enacting this innovation. I believe it demonstrates that implementing this program will create more opportunities and positive outcomes than it will risks, with students, teachers, the school and our local communities all seeing benefits. The innovation I'm proposing is a unit of Pilates for the Year 10 cohort. It would consist of a local Pilates instructor attending our school once a week and taking the classes on a practical lesson. The 2 other lessons would comprise of a Pilates session ran by the teachers and a theory lesson educating students on the benefits of lifelong physical activity. This innovation links to the previously analysed research as it provides our adolescent girls with an activity that incorporates fun and fitness-based exercise, which are elements that this demographic felt were lacking in the HPE curriculum. Furthermore, 2 lessons of Pilates per week is close to satisfying the physical activity guidelines set out by the AIHW. The innovation will provide students with the opportunity to try something new that they can continue to do after the unit, whether that is through a local business or at home. Linking this practical aspect with the education on lifelong physical activity will encourage students to continue seeking ways to be active outside of school and throughout their lives. Finally, I believe this unit should be done in Year 10 as it will promote students to consider enrolling in senior PE due to the understanding that this subject is valuable and engaging. I believe we will see an increase in participation from the students during class. The research that I have seen demonstrates that adolescent girls are interested in sports that allow them to continue socialising, which is an aspect of Pilates. After the program, I predict we will see an increase in senior PE enrolments. Encouraging the students to see the real-world benefits of this subject is what I believe is important about this innovation. With the community connections we will make and the link to post-school life, the students will view HPE as a valuable subject. As seen here, I have created a timeline for this innovation, starting with today's pitch and finishing at the beginning of 2027, with the hopes that we can implement this with the Year 8 cohort as well. Key points in this timeline include the draft submission to you in a few weeks, the budget submission, our Teachers Pilates courses, and the implementation of this program with various data collections following this.